Hi guys, my name's Ellie. Welcome to my channel. My hair's not as messy as I feel like it is. It's fine. I have something to chat to you guys about. So, the main gist of this, you can see that it is a 1 month 2 palette video. I'm starting today. I'm just not feeling it lately. I'm having hard times. Some of it is the change in schedule, the fact that I'm getting up earlier, leaving earlier, dealing with the whole being a morning person. Again, going from having like an 8:30 start time with a 6-minute commute, literally a couple blocks, to a 7:30 start time with a half-hour commute, which means I need to be out the door at 7 or 7:05 or I will be late. And even then, I can be as on time as I need to be, but since I'm using highways to get to work now, there's a much bigger chance that somebody else will fuck up and create traffic, and I will be late by no fault of my own, which I'm getting there. I'm working really hard on getting out the door as close as I can to a perfect time, and then not murdering anybody who creates extra traffic on my way. Because in theory, as long as I leave by like 7 o'clock, 7:05, maybe 7:10 if traffic's light, but it's just, there's a lot more variables in my commute and to getting out to work on time. And then since I am further away from my house, there's a lot less motivation to do errands on the way home, even though that would be the best time to do them. Highways in the afternoon on a weekday make me murderous. But I haven't fully committed to doing back roads to attempt to deal with that. We will see. But that, in combination with just being a bit burnt out on the makeup beauty community, from the drama of bigger channels just imploding, and I'm not following that many big YouTubers or beauty influencers. I really wasn't. But it's exhausting watching the ways that they screw each other over, starting to realize the volume of product coming out all the time, which a little of that is my fault because I joined and got involved in a beauty news community where we're looking at and seeing all of them, and it makes it a lot harder to feel like anything coming out is unique. And so I'll go from, 2 months of having no interest in buying anything to wanting a whole bunch of things at once to being like, So, I also gave myself some pretty big panning goals, and I'm not stopping those, I'm just not focusing on them. I really miss doing 1 month 1 palette or little challenges like those. I was kind of getting some of it with my weekend stuff, but it's been very different, and I'm attempting to, because I still like the makeup I have. I like it a lot. I want to use it. So I'm hoping to tempt myself with a new challenge or just a different way to explore my collection, and hopefully deal with some of the fact that I'm just different. I'm changing. My relationship to makeup is changing. Everything's changing, and it's fine. But I need to find what the new rhythm is for it, because I'm not even wearing it like necessarily twice a week now. I went from wearing it 7 times a week, sometimes taking a face off when I get home, putting on a new one, doing multiple looks on the weekends, being bam bam bam, to I'm an older adult now, even though it's just been a couple of years, where I have errands to run on the weekends. I have things to do. I don't always want to put on makeup on the days that I'm not going to work, and when I'm going to work, I'm having trouble getting up early enough to get to work, let alone to have time to sit down and do a full face. So, I am going to mess with myself. So I'm picking a palette that is in my collection that I kind of want to get to know more, as well as one that is in one of my projects. So this month we are doing the Tarte Pineapple of the Sea, Pineapple of Your Eye, something like that. The Tarte Holiday Palette. So the inside looks like this. So as you can see, it's kind of medium to deep. So like darker purples, blues, stuff like that. This is one I got at the end of last year. I've worn it a couple times, but I just don't know enough about this to feel like I know this palette the way I feel like I did with some of the other palettes that I had 1 month from palettes on previously. The other one, this is in my Project 50 pan, and I have not fucking touched it. I've worn this palette maybe once, so it's also kind of a newer item, but I want to bring this in. So this is the Sephora and Pantone Universe Modern Watercolors palette. I remember this being hard to open. Please open. There we go. There we go. So this is a lot lighter, a lot softer, with a little bit of pop. So I'm hoping that these colors will kind of allow me to create a variety of soft, colorful looks into medium looks, into, you know, wearable office looks, into maybe a little bit smoky, and then get an idea of if this is going to keep going. So, I have them. I'm going to weigh them. Not that that's something I'm super, like, I got so excited when I got that scale, and I just have not had the energy to deal with editing it either, so it's been really rough to try and make myself do updates on projects where I'm using the products when I have them, but I'm not as often, so the progress is smaller, and just trying to edit on the new software that I've been using is not as fun. It's a lot. Everything's a lot. So, I'm going to weigh them. I'll put in the initial weights, then we'll get into looks, and then I will see you at the end of the month with other looks. So by the time you guys see this, it will be July. So, happy July. This was my June 1 month 2 palette video. Starting weight. We'll call it 324.62. To 11.41. Woohoo! So both of these palettes are kind of hard to figure out what the names of the colors are going to be, so I'm not really going to mess with that. I did take kind of a coral and a purple from the Tarte palette and kind of buffed them out with a lighter coral from the Modern Watercolors palette. The outer kind of metallic burgundies from Tarte. The inner corner is from the Watercolors. I like it. I feel like it turned out very like coral sangria cute. It is the day before Memorial Day where we're doing all of our actual family stuff together, but I like it. I think it worked well. I had a lot of fun kind of faking a sunburn across the middle of my face, which I probably should have done something up here, but I didn't, and it's too late now because I've set my face with powder. It's a cream blush. So, I like it. Very pretty. Very nice. So this is just the Tarte palette, but I did really like how it turned out. I was trying to do some kind of like orangey purple situation, and it worked out quite well. I like it a lot. But I have to go play with my nephew, so bye. Can't remember if I have worn this look for you guys before or not, but I have green and orange, so I wanted to do like a coppery gold with the green. I like how it turned out. It's really, really pretty. That gold is fixing a lot of things that I didn't realize I needed fixed in my eyeshadow. It pairs really, really well. I have to go wash some pots so we can take them back to Lush and get free face masks. This is my life now. So, yeah, I'm doing an update without any makeup on because I have a very specific look. It is 4th of July, hence, honestly, what I think is a really cute outfit. So, like, we got little top, little thing, we got shorts. I'm excited to do a very different eyeshadow look once my hair is dry enough to put back without crinking, you know, like the little crinkle that you get in it when you put back super straight hair before it's fully dry. Anyway, what you're here for is the finale of my 1 month 2 palettes. It is July 4th. And by now you've seen, I'm assuming, the looks. We'll put the final weight here. Hopefully there's an annotation that I put in of how much I ended up using in it. It wasn't much. I still didn't really fix my not doing my makeup in the morning problem. But I did do it a couple times where I'd like get home from work, I'd have enough time, I'd sit down and play with the makeup. I haven't been using it on the weekends because I want to use my other makeup. I want to kind of save my weekends for rotating in all the palettes I'm not focusing on during the week. I only gave you 3 looks, I think. And I kind of failed at using them together, which is fine. A lot of the things I'm trying to do are either to accomplish a goal and or to learn something about how I do my makeup or how I do or don't use things together. Final thoughts. I like this palette a lot more than I thought I was going to. I didn't really mess with the face powders, but I think they'd be fun to pan down the road. I don't think I'm going to do any more 1 month 1 palettes right now. I'm going to hopefully kind of switch back and forth between Project Pantone, which takes a lot more than a month, at least for me, and the maybe some weekend stuff, some smaller projects. But this is actually a really nice color story for me. It's got some warm and some cool tones. I use this green a lot more than I was expecting. There's some really pretty warm tones up here that I think will be really good, so in a couple cycles of things, I think I'll come back to this and try and use it for Project Pantone. I didn't really get to use this nice taupe. I want to play with this more, and I think it has a lot more potential than I originally thought. I kind of bought it because it had an alright color story in my opinion, and it was a fun shape. And I think this is a much more useful set of colors. Can I do it without reflecting? I really can't. I think this is a lot more useful set of colors than I had originally thought, and I think it offers a lot of very quick looks as well as options for switching things up. And I think that's why I didn't feel the need to use it with anything else. I kind of had everything I wanted for most looks already here. So my plan to pair it with this guy didn't work very well. Let's see if I can get it open without breaking a nail. I still really like this. I want to use this a different time. I don't know how much of it I'll actually use. I think this is going to be a thing where I pull 1 or 2 shades at a time because this is kind of a wonky color story. It's mainly very, very light, as well as colors I don't use a lot, like having 2 light greens in varying shades. That's nice, but I don't use them very often. I also don't use these shades of blue very often. I smoked out a couple of the looks with like the lighter pastel peach and corals. I know I've used these like metallic-y shades. They're quite pretty, and I do like the formula. It's a little softer. I think that's going to be something I use shade by shade in smaller amounts with other things. So I don't think right now this is going to be a Pan That palette or a Project Pantone or even a palette focus. I think this is going to be small things that I pull together over time, and I do honestly really like the packaging. It's very sturdy. I like this huge ass mirror. I think I'm going to slowly pan a couple shades out of here, maybe just crush some up and get rid of them. And then I will have this, since it doesn't have any names on it, which is the thing that really messes with me, having other shade names where I might put something else. I think I might slowly get rid of all the things in here by panning or scraping out, and then press other shadows into this to make maybe a travel palette, or as I get down to stuff, scraping things, making Franken shadows, making personal color stories in here in these tiny little pans so I don't have as much to go through. And this packaging is really, really cool looking. I like it. I wish that it was different shadows. really it. And that's kind of the end. I have a plan. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, but I'm going to save most of it for a separate video. I think my next big attempt is going to be Project Pantone. And I'm going to ease myself into it with this one. This is my Anastasia Beverly Hills Self-Made palette. I already have some pan going on, and I know a lot of these shades are really, really easy. As you can see, they're smaller areas. Not all of these are still good. Like, I don't really give a fuck about Spirit Rock. I'm not sure I give a fuck about Hot Chocolate or Buttery, but we'll see what happens. And in order to make this more a way to kind of ease back into doing more daily makeup, I'm going to pair it with, I keep saying pair it and thinking parrot like the bird, which, oh, I don't know if you guys knew that our house had a bird. We had a bird. She was a cockatiel. She, he, it. We never really checked the sex because it didn't matter. It was an individual bird, and it's not, we weren't intending to pair it with anything or breed it. It was a bird that we had gotten from some estate sale. Somebody had passed and had a bird that needed a home, so we accepted it, even though we have a cat. So we'd had, literally, that door right there is the door into the 2 rooms that we'd kept the bird in and not let the cat in, because the cat would try to kill the bird. And the few times that the cat managed to run in there, she did very much try to kill the bird. Anyway, that bird had been there for quite a few years. It finally passed, which sounds a little harsh, but it was an older bird. It was not getting the attention it really needed. Like, people would go in there and spend time with the bird, but she wasn't coming down and spending a lot of time with big groups of people because we had a cat. So it was kind of, you have to go into the separate room to see the bird, and it was already a bird that had outlived its previous owner. So, bird has passed. We have buried the bird and I think we put a bush. Normally when we bury a pet, we bury it in the yard and then we kind of make like a small garden or like plant a plant over it to kind of like identify it. When we were kids, we had guinea pigs and we all had little individual like rock circle gardens where we planted our guinea pig when they passed and like tended some flowers. It was very cute, but I'm thinking about birds because the bird is no more. Anyway, thinking of pair it is making me think of parrots and birds, and I'm giggling inside each time I say it. Anyway, long tangent over. I'm going to pair that palette with this cream shadow from Maybelline. Yeah, it's a color tattoo with a discontinued limited edition shade called Leather. I put some Duraline drops in here just because the edges are getting a little dry, and I've noticed that Duraline really helps with that. So since I'm not using it today, it'll give it a little time for the Duraline to kind of soak in and make sure it stays emollient. And then when I try to use it this upcoming week, it'll have a little bit more blendability. Because the center's been good long term, but the edges are getting dry, so I'm trying to like soak the edges. But I like to use this cream shadow, kind of blend it into the crease, pack it over the lid, and it gives something really nice for a couple shades in here to stick to. Mainly stuff like Self-Made and Hot and Cold, as well as Witchy, so I think I can use those really well. I forgot, I'm also not really giving a ton of fucks about Metallic Plum. It's a good shadow, but it's not holding up the way the others are. Like, Pink Champagne is still going super strong. Most of the rest of these need a cream base, so I have plans. That will be a separate video with starting points, weights, looks, and then at the end, when I feel like I've put enough put enough effort into it and gotten where I want to get with it, I will do the end, and so that will be several months down the road where that video will actually be up for you guys to watch. But that's where we are with this. That is how this project went for me. And I think having the faster combination, because that cream shadow plus packing on something, that is a really quick morning look for me, and I've been able to do that in the past. That's how I pan so much of the gold shade in there. I feel like that will help get me back in the habit of waking up with, as I do faster things, I can in theory kind of work up to having more time to do full complicated looks in the morning and get back in the habit of wearing makeup during the week in the morning, not when I get home in the afternoon. Yeah. Oh, my posture generally kind of sinks down, and I have to correct it because this is me sitting properly. I'm gonna go actually film the intro for that other video. Then I'll be doing some other stuff, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you all for watching. I look forward to your suggestions about how to get back into wearing makeup on a daily basis, and how you feel about different palettes. Like, I am noticing more and more how many things are complete on their own, and I don't need to mix and match like I have with other things. So it's good. It's interesting to see my taste changing, at least for me. I'll see you guys next time.